Hello students, this is Shahid sir. Today we are going to discuss human digestive system. So first of all, you should know about human digestive system. What is the meaning of digestion? So we already discussed digestion, the meaning of digestion. Digestion means complex food is converted into the simple food with the help of digestive enzyme. That is the digestion. So in this we'll discuss about human digestive system, how the complex food is converted into the simple food and how from the food energy is produced. So what is the importance of human digestive system or digestion? Digestion is important because your body needs nutrient from food and drink to work properly and stay healthy. These nutrients are mainly protein, fat, carbohydrate and vitamins. Your digestive system breaks nutrient into parts small enough for your body to absorb and use for energy, growth and cell repair. For example, protein breaks into amino acid. You know that protein is a large molecule. It can break into the amino acid. Fat breaks into fatty acid and glycerol. Carbohydrates breaks into simple sugar. So that is the digestion. Complex food is converted into the simple food with the help of digestive enzyme. Now the parts of human digestive system. We will classify the human digestive system into two parts and we'll discuss like this. So human digestive system can be classified into two parts, namely alimentary canal and digestive gland. Alimentary canal. The organs involved in the alimentary canal are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. And the digestive glands are namely salivary gland, pancreas and liver. So here you can see the diagram of human digestive system. It shows all the organs and glands. So here you can see the mouth. Where is the location of mouth? Here you can see the mouth. Then esophagus. So from mouth food goes to the esophagus. From esophagus it goes to the stomach. From stomach it goes to the small intestine and then goes to the large intestine. And finally undigested food removed from the anus. So what do you mean by alimentary canal first of all? Alimentary canal is nothing but the passage from mouth to the anus. So passage from mouth to the anus is known as the alimentary canal. Here you can also see the glands which are involved in the human digestive system. So mainly these are three glands. First, that is the salivary gland. You can see the salivary gland upper side in the mouth. Then it is pancreas and a liver. So I'll discuss each in detail. First of all, organs involved in alimentary canal. So organs involved in alimentary canals are namely mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. So I'll discuss each in detail. So I'll start from the mouth. So first of all, the food enters into the mouth. So digestion of food starts from the mouth. Mouth cavity, it is also known as the buccal cavity, contain the following part for the digestion. So as we know that food enters into the mouth and this mouth cavity is known as the buccal cavity, and buccal cavity contain the following parts like teeth, tongue and salivary gland. So we know that in our mouth cavity what is present? Teeth is there, tongue and salivary gland. So what is the role of this teeth, tongue and salivary gland in the digestion? So first of all, teeth. Now what is the function of teeth? So it cut the food into small pieces, chew the food and grind the food. Tongue. What is the function of tongue? It mixes the food with saliva. And salivary gland, as we know that buccal cavity, inside the buccal cavity, salivary gland is present. So what is the function of this salivary gland? So it secretes the saliva in our mouth. So another question arises in your mind. What do you mean by saliva? So saliva is a watery liquid, so it wets the food in our mouth. The saliva contains an enzyme. Enzyme is also present in the saliva. That enzyme is amylase enzyme. So what is the function of this amylase enzyme? Amylase enzyme digests the starch. We know that starch is a polysaccharide. It is a large molecule. So this amylase enzyme digests the starch into maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide. So polysaccharide is converted into the disaccharide. So we can say this: digestion of starch begins from mouth. Now food remain in the mouth for a short time. We know that in our mouth food stay or remain for shorter time. So it is not possible to digest whole food. So digestion of food is incomplete in mouth. Why? Because food stay or food remain in the mouth for a short time. Now this partially digested food goes to the esophagus. So what is esophagus? Esophagus is nothing but it is a food pipe. So food from mouth goes to the esophagus. Esophagus also known as the food pipe. Now these are some important points. It is necessary to move the food in regular manner along the digestive tube so that it can be processed properly in each part. The lining of alimentary canal has some muscles that contract in order to push the food forward. This peristaltic movement occurs all along the gut. Now what do you mean by peristaltic movement? Peristaltic movement is nothing but the contraction and relaxation of the muscle. So because of this contraction and relaxation of the muscle, food from one organ goes to another organ. For example, food from esophagus goes to the stomach, or from stomach goes to the small intestine because of this contraction and relaxation of the muscle. If there is no contraction and relaxation of the muscle, food cannot go from one organ to the another organ. Now because of this peristaltic movement, food goes from esophagus to stomach and from stomach to intestine. Now I'll discuss about the stomach. Some basic terms, some basic information about the stomach. It is present on left side of the abdomen. Food stays in stomach for nearly 3 hours. Here food is converted into semi-solid paste. The wall of stomach contains 3 tubular glands which secrete the gastric juice. And the gastric juice which is secreted in stomach is having following contents. First of all, it is having the dilute hydrochloric acid. Next, pepsinogen. It is one of the enzyme for the digestion of protein. And the third one, that is the mucus. So gastric juice contains these 3 things: dilute HCl, pepsinogen and mucus. So we'll see the role of each in detail. First one, dilute hydrochloric acid. It is also said to be that you can say that HCl. So make the acidic medium into the stomach. So from the name you can say this, it is a acid, hydrochloric acid. So what is the function of this hydrochloric acid? It makes the food acidic. And what is the other function of this HCl? So it kills the bacteria. Now why we need to make the food acidic? We need to make the food acidic because in the stomach, in the gastric juice, one enzyme is there, pepsinogen. Pepsinogen need the acidic medium. So we have to convert the food into the acid. Second one is pepsinogen. What is pepsinogen? It is one of the enzyme present in the gastric juice. What is the function of this pepsinogen? It digests the protein. It needs the acidic medium. So here you can see pepsinogen, it needs the acidic medium, and this pepsinogen is converted into the active pepsin. Now this pepsinogen can easily digest the protein. Pepsinogen in inactive form cannot digest the protein. It needs acidic medium to digest the protein. So this acidic medium helps pepsinogens to convert into active pepsin. Then this pepsin can digest the protein. Then mucus. What is the function of mucus? It protects the wall of stomach from its own secretion of HCl and pepsin. That is the function of mucus. Now, the exit of food from stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle. What do you mean by sphincter muscle? So, it is a circular muscle that normally maintains constriction of a natural body passage. So, there are some circular muscles present which help the food to goes from one part or one organ to another organ, and it releases it in small amount into small intestine. Here you can see the sphincter muscle. From this, esophagus enters into the from the esophagus the food enters into the stomach, and from the stomach another sphincter muscles are there. From this stomach, food goes to the small intestine. That is the function of sphincter muscle. Now from the stomach, the food now enters into the small intestine. Now small intestine, it is the largest part of alimentary canal. In adult person, it is about 6.5 meter long, and the length of the small intestine differ in various animals depending on the food they eat. Normally, herbivores are eating grass, need a longer small intestine to allow the cellulose to be digested, and meat is easier to digest. And carnivores like tiger have shorter small intestine. So carnivores are having comparatively shorter small intestine than the herbivores. Why? Because carnivores, we know that the cell of carnivores, carnivores are eating the meat. Meat means they are eating the animals, and animal cell is not having the cell wall. Cell wall is absent. But in plant cell wall is present. So herbivores are eating the plant. They need to digest the cell wall, which is made up of cellulose, while carnivores which are eating the meat no need to digest the cell wall because cell wall is absent. So it is easier to digest the meat compared to the plants. The small intestine is the site of complete digestion of carbohydrate, protein and fat. So we can say this, the digestion of food is completed in the small intestine. Every remaining food will be digested here. The small intestine receives the secretion from liver and pancreas also. What is the function of liver and pancreas? Liver is one of the gland, digestive gland. So what is the function of this liver? It secretes the bile, which is normally stored in the gallbladder. Bile is alkaline in nature and makes the food alkaline so that pancreatic enzyme can act on it. So we know that the nature of bile is alkaline. So this bile will make the food alkaline. And this bile salt break the fat into small globules, increasing the efficiency of enzyme action. So here the enzyme which are present need the alkaline medium. So this bile secreted from the liver provides alkaline medium, so this enzyme can efficiently work. Next gland is pancreas. So pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, and it contains the enzyme like trypsin and lipase. Trypsin, what is the function of trypsin? Trypsin, it digests the protein, and lipase for breakdown emulsified fat. Next is intestinal juice. So intestine, the wall of intestine also secrete the juice, and that juice is said to be the intestinal juice. Intestinal juice contains some enzyme for the digestion of food. These enzymes are given here. For example, they are having the maltase for the digestion of maltose into glucose. They are having the lactase for the digestion of lactose into glucose and galactose. They are having the sucrase for the digestion of sucrose into glucose and fructose. They are also having erepsin for the digestion of peptones into amino acid, and enterokinase for the digestion of trypsinogen into trypsin. And they are also having lipase for the digestion of fat and convert the fat into fatty acid and glycerol. So these are the functions of intestinal juice. So remaining food is digested with the help of this intestinal juice. Now you can say this, food is completely digested into the small intestine. Small intestine become the main site for the absorption of the digested food because food is completely digested here. What is the next step? Next step, it is just absorption of the digested food. So we can say this, small intestine becomes the main site for the absorption of the digested food. Now who absorb this? So the inner wall of small intestine has millions of small finger-like projection called the villi. This villi increases the surface area of small intestine, and villi helps in the absorption of digested food. So the wall of small intestine is having numbers of millions of small finger-like projection. These are the villis, and this villis helps in the absorption of the digested food. Villi are the richly supplied with blood vessel which take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body. So it is having the numbers of blood vessels. Blood vessels are also present there. So from the villi, this food goes to the blood vessel, and through this blood vessel food goes to the each and every part of our body. Next organ is large intestine. So we know that the digestion of food is completed in the small intestine. Now the undigested food goes to the large intestine. So the unabsorbed food which is undigested, it is sent into the large intestine where more villi absorb water from this material. So what happens in the large intestine? Only the absorption of water, and it makes the food solid. Water from undigested food is absorbed here. So undigested food is removed from the body via anus. Here you can see this. Here also some sphincter muscles are present. This sphincter muscles helps in the removal of undigested food from anus. The exit of this material is regulated by the anal sphincter. So it is also regulated by the sphincter muscle. Thank you.